Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, Latina Plants. My name is Jackie. Today we're going to do some plant chores, so let's go ahead and get into that. But before we do, if you like plant chore videos like this, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. Also, click on that bell to get notified every time I upload a video. Let's go do some plant chores. We're going to start this plant chore video off with packing some orders that I received from PalmStreet. And while I'm packing, I'd like to talk about how I package my orders. I ship USPS, priority mail. I also like to include a thank you card with some planty stickers, my business card, and a plant tag for each of the plants that are purchased, as well as a logo sticker for you guys. I use these packing paper as well as some paper towels and packing tape and shrink wrap to package all of my plants. For the winter time, you can purchase a heat pack. I have some 72-hour heat packs available for you guys, as well as some thermal wrap. It is an upcharge or an upgrade for packing just to ensure that your plant arrives well. Because it's starting to get colder at night and during the day as well. Don't forget to check me out on PalmStreet, you guys, at Latina Plants, just like on my YouTube here. I will also leave it down in the description for you guys, a link to my PalmStreet, so you can go ahead and follow me there. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the plants that I make and propagate and sell on there. And so now I'm just going to leave you guys with this packing video and some music. I hope you enjoy this packing. On this clip here, I wanted to update you guys on these three plants here. I did this cute little setup and I uppotted all three of these plants, my Schefflera, and I did this light stand here that I had on hand to provide some lighting for them because this corner of the kitchen is pretty dark. And so I uppotted my Dracaena marginata as well as my Ficus burgundy here, and they're all doing great. And the Schefflera, I needed to water my plants today, so I am preparing my water for my plants. Today's watering day for me, and I'm going to be watering the plants in my kitchen and in my living room. And so I thought I'd take this moment to share with you guys my watering mix. And I like to start with silica. Typically, I would prepare my 5-gallon bucket overnight with RO water, and I add silica and I let it sit overnight. The silica I use half to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. And again, I let that sit overnight. If I can't do that, or for some reason I forgot to, I will add the silica and let it sit for at least an hour before I go ahead with the rest of the things that I add to the water. The next thing that I add to my water is CalMag, and I like to do zero point 0.4 to 4 milliliters per gallon. I do a weekly fertilizing, so I go with the lowest number. After I add the CalMag, I add my mosquito bits. I do 2 cups of mosquito bits in a nylon stocking, and I rubber band it closed and add it to my 5-gallon bucket. After I've added the mosquito bits, I let that sit for 30 minutes or more. I just go about my day and do some planty chores or other things while it sits in the water. And after the 30 minutes, I will go ahead and transfer the water from the 5-gallon bucket to my water jugs. After I've transferred all of the water to my water jugs, then I will go ahead and add my fertilizer. I use the Schultz brand as well as the Espoma brand of fertilizer to my water. Each of my watering jugs has either a letter R for regular Schultz fertilizer, which I use for all of my houseplants, or a letter F for my flowering plants, and that's the Schultz African Violet fertilizer that I use, or a letter C, which is the Espoma Organic Cactus and Succulent fertilizer. Now that my watering mix is all done, I'm going to go ahead and start getting set up and ready to water the plants in my kitchen. I like to put out a bunch of different variety size saucers on the table and then start checking my plants with a skewer just to see if they need watering. I do recommend that you check your plants before you water them and make sure that they need to be watered before you water to avoid overwatering your plants. So let's go ahead and listen to some music while I water my plants in my kitchen.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
And here I'm showing you the plants that I have in my window that is above my kitchen sink. These plants I typically water in place except for the three that are hanging on this rod. Only one of them on this rod needed to be watered, and that was the peperomia watermelon, which you guys saw me water, and the other two did not need it. And the rest I watered in place on a different time because they didn't need any watering. We're going to move on to the plants in my living room. This window here is a south facing window. So a lot of the plants that I put on this rod typically dry out very fast, as well as any plants that I have close to the window. I am checking my ficus here. It has lost a few leaves. This plant was just recently transplanted, and so she has lost a few leaves while she acclimates to her new substrate, pot, and to my home. But she is doing great, you guys. I will show you her up close soon. And so, starting with the curtain rod, because the purple oxalis did not need any watering, she was doing pretty good, as well as the ficus, the variegated ficus, didn't need any watering either. I'm just going to go ahead and water all of the plants that are in hanging baskets. And yes, I do check every single one to make sure they need watering before I water them so that I don't overwater my plants.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
I have these two plants on my bookshelf, my philodendron micans, as well as my Monstera sultana that we're going to water next. I just wanted to show you where they live at, and the plants on the trays have already been watered because those are plants that I have listed on PalmStreet for sale, so I watered them on a separate day. So let's go ahead and water these two plants.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Here is a close-up look at my Ficus benjamina variegated. I got this from Casa Farms at Lowe's, you guys. If you didn't check out that shop with me, I'll link it in the eye for you. She is looking beautiful and is doing great so far, you guys, in this new pot and substrate. And fingers crossed and praying that she stays alive because you guys know that I didn't do too well with one that I purchased in the early spring. She quickly unalived herself. To wrap up this plant chores video, we are going to take these Alocasia regal shields that I have grown from corm in a mixture of fluval and perlite, and we are going to repot them into my chunky aroid mix that I like to use for my alocasias. All of these alocasias will go up on my PalmStreet if you're interested in grabbing one for you for yourself or somebody. They will be inexpensive, you guys, and I think this is a really underrated alocasia. I have a huge Alocasia Regal Shield that is the mama plant that is growing beautifully and big, and she has about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 huge leaves, and she's in the pot by herself because I think that alocasias require a lot of nutrients, so I recommend that you have one plant in the pot so that they're not fighting for nutrients. And yeah, I got a bunch of the baby corms from the mother plant when I needed to repot her. And I also got two rather large babies off of her as well that are also listed on PalmStreet if you guys are interested. And it is time to transfer these babies from fluval and perlite into my chunky arid mix. And here is a little stowaway baby. I'm not sure if that is an Alocasia Regal Shield or if it was a different Alocasia corm that got mixed in there somehow. We all know how these corms can pop up anywhere, you guys. And so let's go ahead and repot all these beautiful babies. Now you don't have to rinse out the fluval and the perlite, but I like to just give the roots a nice rinse and yeah, go ahead and pot them up after that. I did stop using Myco for some of the easier to care for alocasias like this Regal Shield. So you won't see me adding Myco to the soil because I feel it's not necessary, you guys, because these plants are super easy to care for and not finicky at all. And if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I like to do a mixture of the cocoa core, cocoa chips, chunky perlite, and the cocoa core that I buy already has the smaller perlite. It's about a 50 to 30 mix of cocoa core and perlite. And then I add some chunky perlite, some worm castings, as well as some cocoa chips. And that is my chunky aroid mix. I would like to also get a hold of some charcoal, just to add some charcoal to that. And I am looking into trying to get some repti bark in place of the cocoa chips, or maybe to mix in with the cocoa chips in my future mixes. But for now, this is my mix and it has been working great for my plants so far. I also do like to add some Osmoco slow release fertilizer to this mix just to add some extra fertilizer that won't burn the roots. And that has been really good for my plants so far as well. Again, I think this alocasia is super underrated. She is a beauty. If you don't have one, I really think that you should have one in your collection. She is not a jewel alocasia. Yes, she gets rather large, but if you have the space for it in your home, I definitely recommend her. And also, if you have the temperatures in your area for this kind of alocasia to be out in your outdoor garden, she is a beautiful and easy one to care for that I definitely recommend you guys. I also hope that you look forward to seeing some more of my plant chore videos coming up. I'm going to try and do one of these a week for you guys, or maybe every other week because it does entail a lot of editing. So I'm trying not to make any promises, but my goal is to try and have one of these up at least once a week. for you guys, if not once every 2 weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on that bell to get notified every time I upload a video. I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this plant chores video. I know it was a bit long. I hope you enjoyed it and got some planty chores done along with me.